Next time you meet me in Gate City, check out Soul Sisters.
Wait. Oh, Cody Pope. I know Cody Pope.
Our friend is Cody and we not having a good day.
Musician.
Yeah.
What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Cody Central. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Jen, who was already in the chat. What's going on? Thank you for pulling up early. And we got a really fun one in store for tonight. As always, welcome back. Welcome home if it's your first time. Let us know what city and state you're watching from. Drop it in the comments. I see we got a few people coming in already, a lot of people from YouTube, a couple from Facebook. Shout out to everybody that's here. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. It's going to be a really dope one tonight. But as always, let's run through some music and art credentials. So you guys are going to laugh if you were here for last week's episode. And when I get to the end of this, you'll understand why. So my music choice of the week this week is Lord Finesse's new EP, The Plot in Progress. This week, my wish from last week came true unexpectedly. Last week, I picked the new 2-song release from one of my favorite artists of all time, Lord Finesse. If you're unfamiliar, he's one of the pioneering members of the Diggin' in the Crates crew from the 90s, and he's been active since long before that. As both an MC and a producer, he's contributed to some of the most important songs in hip-hop culture. How I closed my segment last week was, quote, all these years later, Finesse is still giving us soulful gems to soundtrack our lives, and Stadium Soul provides exactly that. 2 instrumentals that have a very 90s aesthetic sonically and transport you to a better time in art and music. I wish there was more than 2 songs, but I'll have these on repeat for sure. And boom, what did he do this week? He drops the Plot in Progress EP, which has those 2 songs and one more new track. So I literally couldn't have made this up myself. I just thought that was way too funny to not mention that. So if you haven't heard it yet, check out Lord Finesse, the Plot in Progress 3 instrumental EP, out now on all platforms. And if you haven't checked it out yet, check out the new album from myself and Byron G, Giant Steps in Gate City, also available everywhere that you can listen to music.
My lace is tight enough for...
Shout out to Keith. I see you in the chat as well. Thank you guys for being here. Crowd is growing, so thank you to everybody that is in here. Let us know what city and state you're watching from, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Shout out to my brother Fee, the Evolutionist, up in here tonight as well. It's going to be a fun one, so I'm excited for you guys to get involved with us. I'm going to actually skip movie of the week this week, believe it or not. I didn't get a chance to write a review that I was really into, but I do still have some stuff up on Letterboxd, and I'm going to be watching a bunch of stuff this week. So for now, go through the Letterboxd and check out some of the old reviews and watch lists, and I'll tell you a little more about that real quick. And shout out to our brother Fee, who's watching from the hometown, Gate City represent. Let me throw on a little tune here real quick. So this beat that I'm playing right now is actually an instrumental by one of our guests tonight. It was by the name of Even Tho. And I just wanted to throw this on while I go through some of our event listings for I was watching back last episode of the event listings, and I realized how weird it sounds with no music behind it. So decided to throw some music down this time. Shout out to on that. We're going to talk more about his music in a bit. Let me bring this down real quick. And with that said, let's go through some event listings now. So Tuesday, March 4th, Big Shug and MDOT are going to be live on air at the Hybrid Theory. So legendary Massachusetts hip hop artists Big Shug of Gangstar Foundation and EMS founder MDOT are going to be joining previous Cody Central guests, the Hybrid Theory radio show, for an exclusive interview tomorrow night. That's Tuesday, March 4th, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. You can listen to that live on wrbrocks.com or waveradioboston.com. Friday, March 7th, 90s alternative rock sensation Everclear are making their way for a noteworthy performance at the Nashua Center for the Arts right here in Nashua, New Hampshire. Also on Friday the 7th, Sam Morrill, one of my favorite stand-up comedians right now, who's also part of the We Might Be Drunk podcast with Mark Normand, is going to be bringing his Errors tour to the Music Hall at Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Also on Friday, March 7th, previous episode guest Danny P, alongside a slew of local comedians, are going to be doing the second installment of the high school dropout comedy show at the Laugh Attic at Strange Brew in Manchester, New Hampshire. Sunday, March 9th, the Preservation Hall Jazz Band is going to be at the Nashua Center for the Arts. They're a New Orleans jazz band that was founded in the early 60s. Friday, March 14th, Cowboy Bebop presented by the Bebop Bounty Big Band is going to be at the Nashua Center for the Arts. So it's going to be a really cool musical interpretation of the seminal 90s anime performed by a big 14-piece band or something like that. Sunday, March 16th, rescheduled date for Fee the Evolutionist with Conflict and Nasty at Rap Night Manchester. So this is going to be 2 back-to-back crazy hip-hop performances at New Hampshire's longest-running hip-hop residency at the legendary Shaskeen Pub in Manchester, New Hampshire. Rap Night Manchester is hosted every single Sunday by DJ Myth, I9, and Sean Caliber. Show starts at 9 p.m. It's 21 plus, $5 to get in. Monday, March 19th, 1990s post-hardcore legends Quicksand make their way to the Paradise Rock Club in Boston. March 21st and 22nd, Ceremony, California's incredible punk and hardcore new wave iconoclasts, are doing their 20-year anniversary shows in New York City at the Bowery Ballroom. Saturday, March 22nd, Michelle Diacello is going to be at the Groton Hill Music Center in Groton, Mass. She's a Grammy-winning bass player, poet, and songwriter who's going to be doing an entire show. She was just recently on NPR Tiny Desk, and it was awesome. Tuesday, April 1st, Nashua Celebration of the Arts at the Nashua Center for the Arts is at 7 p.m. and it features Ruby Shabazz, the Queen of Gate City R&B, and many more. Friday, April 4th, Beth Gibbons is going to be at the Orpheum Theater. Beth Gibbons is the vocalist for the prominent alternative trip-hop group Portishead. She's going to be playing songs from her new solo album at the Orpheum. Tuesday, April 8th, Conservative Military Image and Street Power are going to be at Geno's in Portland, Maine. Chicago Hardcore's CMI and East Coast Hardcore outfit Street Power are going to be tearing it up alongside Hard Cash and Peacebreaker. Friday, April 11th, Sabretooth Zombie is going to be live at Ralph's in Worcester. Friday, April 11th, shameless solo plug, Cody Pope and Byron G are going to be live at Kodo in Lowell, Massachusetts. Sunday, April 13th, Cold Cave is going to be at the Brighton Music Hall. Cold Cave is the solo project of American Nightmare vocalist and Heartworm Press founder Wesley Isold. Saturday, April 19th, Joe List is going to be at the Wilbur. He's another stand-up comedian that I've come to love over the last few years. He has numerous podcasts, a bunch of YouTube specials, toured with Louis C.K. for a while. He's going to be doing a show at the Wilbur. Friday, April 25th, Cody Pope and Byron G will be live at the Aphodian Theater in Portland, Maine for Graphic Melee's stereo album release show. May 31st and June 1st is Tied Down Fest in Detroit, Michigan, featuring American Nightmare, Speed, Judge, Wrong Side, Hope Conspiracy, Fiddlehead, tons more. Going to be one of the biggest hardcore fests this year besides This Is Hardcore. Saturday, June 28th, Godspeed You Black Emperor will be at Roadrunner. The iconic Canadian post-rock group is going to make their return to Boston for a long overdue rescheduled show. If you've never seen Godspeed before, they're a really cool band with a huge instrumental band, very like avant-garde ambience, and they have like projected visuals to go with the music. It's like very creepy, ethereal. It's really cool. And lastly, Friday, July 7th, Wu-Tang Clan final tour, going to hit Boston, Massachusetts. Tickets just went on sale last week. So with that said, if you have any shows coming up or any events in general, it doesn't just have to be a music show, as you can tell. Any events that you want to have plugged on the show, email codycentralshow@gmail.com. If it's something that I am into personally and something that I think our audience would be into, then we are definitely going to plug that on the show. And let me just tell you a little more about that real quick. So thank you guys for all that. Oh, shout out to Ruby Shabazz in the comments. Much love, Ruby. Hope all of us are going to be there. It's going to be a great one. Ooh, Father of Mine. Okay. Quicksand Sergio. You know the drill. Hell yeah. Shout out to my man Bluntsworth. Yeah, so this is going to be an awesome one. So thank you guys for sticking through all that. Tonight's guests include two artists who have released music and contributed to our record label Hellhound Publishing. Together, these guys have a combined over 30 years experience producing music. You can catch them both performing this Sunday, March 9th, at the historic New Hampshire Hip Hop Residency, Rap Night, Manchester. First in the program is somebody that I've had the pleasure of collaborating with countless times over the years. We've done 3 albums, an EP, numerous performances together. He's a regional scene veteran, having worked with the likes of Acrobatic, Mr. Liff, Crime Apple, Vic Spencer, plenty more. Please drop a plethora of applause in the comments for my brother, representing Gate City Hip Hop by way of Merrimack, New Hampshire. Give it up for 8 BZA.
Peace, y'all. How y'all doing? Sorry if I sound a little.
How you doing,
right
man?
now. Still kind of getting over a little fucking, sickness or whatever. But before, I know this is like a long time since we talked. You were talking about it, but since you were mentioning Lord Finesse, I should mention that I did have him sign my MPC 1000 a while ago when he was at fucking Rap Night. So that was dope. I do need to get that fixed though. There's some issues with it. So, what up, V? How you doing,
what up,
bro?
But, all right, and next onto the program is somebody that I've worked with in different capacities through the years. He's established an audience and a network of artists in Florida and during his tenure at Full Sail University, before finding his way back home and eventually collaborating with Hellhound Publishing for a number of live performances, podcasts, artist and content development, and album releases. With all of your remaining applause, allow me to introduce a Gate City hip hop representative now residing within the Worcester, Mass hip hop community. Please welcome our brother Even Tho.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's going on, Clay? How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Can hear you.
Awesome. That was a great intro, by the way. Really
Hey,
nice.
thanks, man. Worked on writing those all day.
Hell yeah.
How you feeling, BZA?
If you knew the
I'm
drill.
getting there, bro. I'm getting there. That I got those things already, like you said. I tried them out.
Right.
It's gonna be a daily regimen for me for sure.
Nice.
If it does the job. So
Just trading health tips.
I appreciate it, man. I'm never too proud to take on some to take on some tips from people if they have anything to help me out. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yo, real quick, if you are watching this from Facebook, do me a favor and hit the share button for us. And if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Those YouTube subscriptions are really helping us grow and get to the place that we're trying to get. So thank you guys for all that support. Shout out our brother Byron G up in the chat as well.
What up, Byron?
What up,
Full
Byron?
Hellhound-
How you doing, bro?
Full Hellhound affair. Now we got the chat saying what up to Byron. We got Byron talking to
Who's
Fee.
the
This is gonna be a good one tonight. I like this. The chat is growing tonight. So first things first. Let's just run. I feel like everybody knows you guys, so I don't want to do like the formal interview thing, but let's just like run through a quick little synopsis, right? So we'll start with you, BZA. What's kind of like the spark notes of your music career up to this point?
Shoot, I mean, putting everything that I could into like my first like real big compilation project was like the setup, you know, the catalyst to get me to actually take this, like, you know, curating a project very seriously. So like that Bobby's Boom Bap recital, the one that you know kind of gave me help with the name, because I appreciated that. That was like a big step for me, because like I said, I really, a lot of those people that I had on that project were people that I either had just found out about, like, you know, within like the couple of years of you know, being on like Twitter or whatever, or you know, people that I've been fan of for like the longest time, you know what I mean? Like I got like Sadat X on there, I got, you know, like you said, Crime Apple, Mr. Lift, Acrobatic, you know, Vic, all those cats. And you know, just as I've been going on, I've been realizing, like, you know, it's been kind of like a trial and error thing with some of it, is to see, like, you know, well, maybe I don't need to do 10 tracks with just people that like different people, you know what I mean? Like I could do like 3 with somebody and then 3 with another, and then just kind of like balance that out. So it's like a lot of that stuff has been like, you know, just like it's a trial and error and seeing where it goes. But a lot of people seem to really dig it. So that's why I'm still doing it, man.
I love that. And I just want to throw out there for the people, BZA himself has over 20 years of experience producing, engineering, DJing, rapping. He's worked with a ton of artists throughout the New England scene. He's expanded even further and worked with artists all through North America and further. He's got countless records out on his own. And you can find a lot of his catalog is available at 8-bza.bandcamp.com. So when you're done watching the show tonight, that's one of the places you should check out. Byron knows what's up. He said the mad scientist.
You already know. I appreciate it, B. Appreciate it.
Even Tho. So I know I kind of dived into your history a little bit, but you were also doing some stuff before even you and I linked up in high school. So what's kind of like the spark notes of your trajectory to get to this point?
So I would say I started off by, you know, writing lyrics and then eventually producing in Fruity Loops for myself, and then started producing for local rappers, all of which are good close friends. And then by the time that I got to college, I had really polished my Fruity Loop skills, and I thought, oh, you know, this is going to be a breeze, but turned out, you know, I was a small fish in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, people were like in their 40s and 50s coming back to school, and I was like learning from real O-heads who had like come back to teach and had Grammys and shit. So it was a real good time down in Florida, where like me and Motion Picture had started Basecamp Beats and worked with, you know, dozens of local artists down in Orlando area. We got our first real credit down there, so that was dope. And then, you know, 2020 moved back up, linked up with Hellhound, and been doing more lo-fi since then, you know. But being down in Florida, it's impossible to not pick up some trap influence, you know, even Orlando, you know what I mean? Like, so there's definitely some infusion of all different genres in my style, and even hearing the people on Hellhound has influenced my style greatly. You know, sometimes I'll think of Trip Seat and be like, yo, he would love this break, or, you know, BZA would love how gritty this sample sounds or whatever, you know. So it's all about sort of like being a sponge and just rolling around, picking up different stuff.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so let's kind of get into why we're here. So the two of you guys are going to be doing back-to-back instrumental sets at Rap Night Manchester. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
how did this all come about, and how did you guys kind of curate this between the two of you?
So first I'd like to say shout outs to DJ Myth for putting that show on for so many damn years. I don't know how he can do it every
Over
week.
11 years now.
I can't even do the math on
so
that. I
wild,
refuse
man.
to do the math on that. But so I just reached back out to him because I had done a few sets there in the past, you know, some with Hellhound and some on my own, and I was like, it's time to go back, you know, like go like a few times a year or whatever. And I was like, yo, let's reach out to Hellhound, see who's available. Originally, I wanted it to be me, BZA, and Trip, because at one point that was going to be a show because you and Byron couldn't go. And so the three of us had like had a group chat and a group convo about, yo, like, let's make this happen. So I was trying to recreate that, to be honest, but Myth kept it 100 with me and was like, we got to have a rapper on it. It can't be three producers. And I was like, that's right. This isn't Stereo Dreams. So I was like, so he reached out. Well, and speaking of Stereo Dreams, I was like, yo, Graphic Melee would be perfect for the set to round off the trio. So I reached out, or I told Myth that, and he reached out to him and coordinated it. So just made it happen.
And honestly, I think all of our styles all like complement each other too. So it'll
sure.
be a very, very clutch show. We're having all three of us on there. So I'm stoked about that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So for the people that have never seen you guys, not only do you guys perform instrumental shows on your own, but you guys also kind of form like Voltron for what we call Drum Machine Vibes, which is both the podcast and the live performance group. And so I think, if I remember correctly, our last Drum Machine Vibes show was the this year's Holiday Stroll.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was a wild show, man.
That truly was a
all the fucking, you know, sound, you know, like all the you know, like
technical issues,
power issues and stuff like that. Regardless, like we still pulled through.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that like everybody really killed it in spite of all the obstacles that were in our way.
Yeah, I mean there's not much you can do when they're not set up for like that level of wattage. You know what I mean? It's just like I think they had everything going in one outlet or something like that. I don't know. It was wild how they had it set up because it just they kept blowing fuses.
Yeah, as a crew, I feel like we have a pretty good record. We've done 3 holiday strolls, and I think every year we've blown the power at some point.
I remember the first year, as soon as the bass hit, the lights flickered.
Yeah, and
I was like
blacked out for a minute.
It was very like Jurassic Park, like, oh, something's coming.
Dude, and that was our first year, so we were shitting ourselves up there, being like, are we gonna be able to do this set right now? We're literally the closing performance at this festival, like
on Main Street too.
If we can't do this,
that shit ever happens again, I'll just hook it up to my car.
I know, right? I'm gonna start bringing one of those big jukebox friggin' Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah. Let's just all get you know, what do you call it? Let's just all get generators and just if they can't handle that, they can't handle 58 generators.
I'm saying. I forgot to. I usually start off the show by saying this. I forgot to mention it, but hopefully you guys know by now. Chat is open for Q&A as long as we're live tonight. So at any point, if you have questions for either of our guests, please drop them in the chat. BZA's running away because he doesn't want your question.
No. I was trying to fix my phone was being funky.
Word.
I gotta actually.
If you guys got any questions for these guys, drop them in the chat. I know everything about them. I know what color underwear they wear. I know fucking their favorite foods. I know their birthdays. So, so I obviously get excited at the prospect of any sort of variation on the Drum Machine Vibes shows and the shows that you guys do in general. Last year, we were lucky to have a bunch of really good shows in our repertoire, both like solo gigs that you guys did and the group things that we did. Do you guys have anything on the docket for the rest of this year so far? Like any shows that aren't announced yet or anything like that?
Well, I actually have one Friday also.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if y'all know John Canada, producer.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, he reached out to me like after a couple times he's been at Rap Night and stuff like that. He has a place, the Felt Fanatic in Salem, Mass, that he works out of, and basically he's doing like like a beat set kind of thing like that. So he reached out to me. It's like me, one other person, and they have like special guests, they said. So I think it's pretty much just anybody that wants to come down and rap too. So
that's rad. So
that would be, if anybody wants to roll Friday, you can have a crazy show.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to so it's the 7th, right? March 7th.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That'll be a cool one. What about you, Evan? You got anything on the docket yet?
Not show wise, but project wise, yeah. So I'm keying up to drop another like playlist type project that's kind of like my first foray outside of like the more chill stuff into the more hype stuff. So that's going to be called Subperceptual. So it's going to just be a lot of like trappy sound and stuff. And but then on the similar note of doing some more upbeat shit, I don't know if he wants me talking about it on live, but I'll just talk about it without saying the name. But I'm doing like a remix beat for somebody who dropped an album last year. So that'll be my first time contributing to like a remix album, and that prospect is really dope to me. So
hell yeah,
look for that like in the May, June time.
That's what's up.
Got a couple chat questions here. First one is for you, BZA. It says, BZA, I was blessed to be present for your Rap Night 10th anniversary set. How do you go about creating your producer set tracks, and do you always compose instrumentals live?
That's a really good question. Thank you, Michael. So basically my MO most of the time, I should say most of the time, because lately I've been starting to get a little lazy and I haven't been doing like straight like sets like that, but I've been trying to do like really like nothing that you've heard the last show kind of thing. Like I try to create a bunch of beats like right there and have them ready. And what I've been using as of like for like the last probably like 6 to 8 months or something, I've been using this thing, the EP 133, aka the KO2. It's kind of like some people love it, some people hate it kind of thing, but I like the workflow on it because it has like 4 channels and you can do like all like the dropouts, and it's cool because it feels more like a vintage machine, because you have to do a lot of things that like you may not necessarily think to do with like the newer stuff, because it's like they're not limited to like time and like space and all that stuff. So it's like a lot of it's like I have to really just like be a MacGyver kind of thing, you know what I mean? So so a lot of my stuff is, like I said, just very brand new. As soon as you hear it, like you're gonna be like, okay, that's what to expect. I'm not going in hearing some recycled shit. So that's my MO usually. But admittedly, I do this last set that I did like about a week or so ago. I still have it on my sampler, so that may or may not be what I rock with Friday. But people seem to really dig it too. So it's not like I'm like a lot of the stuff I played, like people were really getting into it. So it's not like I'm like wasting anybody's time either. You know what I mean? So hell yeah, Ryan, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I have a lot of fun. So
I love that. That's true, dude. We got a question for Even Tho. It says, Even Tho, are you selective with the type of events you choose to perform? What is your ideal venue? This will be interesting. What is your ideal venue? Anyone?
Yeah, I would say definitely like a coffee shop type vibe, because the type of improvising on the keys that I do is like jazz inspired. So I feel like that sort of riffing would be more conducive to that crowd. But that's not to say that I don't love turning up at certain events that are more receptive to the really hype shit. So like Stereo Dreams is really dope for that because they got a great sound system and a great crowd. So I like most recent time I was there, I performed as a feature, and then there was like, you know, people doing the pass the aux. There was a dude who was just scream rapping, you know what I mean? Like straight up on the ground screaming into the mic and shit. And people were vibing. I'm just like, all right, this dude has set the fucking tone. They're ready, you know, like
hell yeah.
So I wouldn't say that I'm selective, but I definitely understand what I have to offer and what would be, you know, conducive to a crowd, you know.
Hell yeah, yo.
Let's fucking go. Yeah. It was probably that dude.
Probably.
You know, Ben, you know the homie Ben.
Probably.
I like this one too. Man, shout out to Bluntsworth for the good questions. If we got any producers in the chat, put your answer to this question in the chat too. Producers in the house, have y'all considered cinematic scoring? And he said especially Byron.
Ooh.
I have definitely.
Hope he has, because I've considered making a movie, so I'm gonna need somebody to score it.
I've definitely had like that question brought to me before, and I wouldn't be against it because I mean, you know, movies are the shit, and a lot of times, like, you know, the music is the thing that, you know, will get people to, like, you know, really feel some of the emotions in the scenes and stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be cool. You know, I definitely feel like sometimes I can just like vibe out with you know, certain sounds and stuff, and just like create a ambience to, you know, to a, you know, emotions and certain things, whether or not it's like sampled, whether or not it's like keys, you know what I mean? But I'd be down for it too. If you want some music for your movie, let me know.
Hell
You
yeah.
know? Anybody that's not in Hellhound got to pay though. So.
Preach. BZA, this next one is for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about producing with a DJ controller?
I've like, admittedly, I did try like messing around with my NS7 before it kind of, you know, stopped really working for me. So I've definitely tried it, but it's, you know, it's you know, it's a little more limiting. You know what I mean? It's not like the same as rocking with, you know, like the keys, rocking with the pads and all that stuff. But I mean, I've definitely tried it before. Not for nothing. I wouldn't be against, you know, I think no matter how you, you know, create, honestly, it's at the end of the day, it's what you get out of it. I don't care what you use personally. You know, you could use like an old tin can if you could figure out how to wire that shit up and make it sound fire. You know what I mean? So.
Can we go back to cinematic scoring for a second?
There you go.
Tin can beats.
So I've actually done some cinematic type scoring back in like 2013, 2010. I did the sound for this like independent horror film on YouTube.
Oh shit.
One of my homies was directing it. One of my guys I went to college with. I'm still in contact with him now. But he was directing, and I did like the, you know, the spooky sound effects, you know, when to build tension, to like create like a suspense, like those just long held out notes and the like, so more like the Foley and like the sound effects. But then later I did like you know, like a beat that was used in like a commercial type setting that was like hype, but I didn't necessarily make it for the commercial type shit. So but I've definitely scored my own like cartoons and stuff, which is fun. You know,
wow.
Putting a video into Logic and then like playing along with it, or, you know, just composing around it. So that's fun.
I want to roll back. What is the name of this movie on YouTube? But you never told us about this.
I know, right?
It's called Talon, Talon, and her name is Maya something. So if you type in Talon and then Maya, I think it'll probably fill in the rest. It's from like
Maya.
Yeah, probably.
I'm literally looking for this right now.
Me too, my man. Let's see.
I want to put it in the chat for everybody.
I'm gonna type Talon Maya horror. There we go. Let's find it that way. This feels like a real podcast with people who look up shit and like, hey, can you search that for me while we're doing this?
Right. I know. I gotta have fucking old buddy from Joe Rogan show. Hey, can you look this up? Fact check this for me.
Pull it up,
Exactly,
Jamie.
yeah.
Pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, that's what it is. Jamie, pull this up for me. Is this real?
All right. Well, I'll find that for you later in the
Find it and drop it in the chat for everybody.
I
I
will,
want to see it too. While you're doing that, I'm going to read this next one because this next one's for you. It says, even though, what outside influences do you embrace creating your music? Genres, films, broadcasts, literature?
Very interesting. Yeah. So, I would say like alternative music is a real big influence, especially a lot of women singers who like genre blend themselves, like Banks, for example. She just dropped a really dope album that I got on repeat. And then there's people like Santi Gold, or Kimbra is really dope. And then there's people like Tegan and Sarah.
I ain't heard her in a minute.
What's that?
Okay, I remember Kimber back when I was in college.
Exactly, yeah. But
She's
she
dope.
keeps putting stuff out, and they put this like really eclectic, echoey, reverby sound in there that I can't get enough of. So
that tape echo.
more like cavern.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, feet.
That's too funny, man.
That's great, man. Bravo.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Even Tho used to go by Eagle. So that's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, so that's great.
If you don't know, now you know.
That's great. BZA, I would love to hear like your interpretation of like music score using samples and shit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, not for nothing. Like I said, I'm always like messing around with different stuff, and like I definitely feel like a lot of like outside, so stuff that may or may not be, like in the normal realm, or it may, or it may be depending on like what you're like looking for and stuff. Like I definitely have a lot of 70s like kind of vibe to my stuff, but at the same time, it's like it could be spacey, it could be anything. So
Exactly.
I try to be as freeform as I can,
Ryan said he found it.
He found it.
Ryan, drop a link in the chat for us, bro.
That's so wild, man.
Yo, I'm low-key like pissed off because I've known you since like high school, and I love movies, and at no point were you like, yo, I scored a movie?
So
that would have been very pertinent information to know.
There's like a few segments where the music was in it already when I received the video, but then there's the parts that were just blank that I had to play with, So it was hard to credit it in an exact way, but you'll see me in the notes.
Oh yeah.
Yo.
Is it under your government or under Even Tho?
It's under my Govy because I didn't go by Even Tho back then, and I didn't really want it associated with my production. Shameless Maya, there we go. Maya, there we go.
Man, shout out to Detective Brian figuring that out for us.
I know, that's
top-notch work there.
Too fine.
So I got a question for you guys. As a rapper myself, primarily, when I go to do a show, I go into it understanding that there's like a certain expectation from me. A lot of times, the expectation for me, or the expectation for me from the audience, is like, I'm going to get them excited. I'm going to capture their attention. I'm going to engage with them. I'm going to try and get them to participate. And I have to like generally like put on a performance. And so what you guys do parallels that similarly, but I imagine the expectation is different. So what do you guys feel is like the personal expectation from you when you go to do a like an instrumental performance? Whoever wants to take that first, obviously.
Well, for me, I mean, it's pretty straightforward for me. It's like I want to either get people hyped up, not regardless, I want to keep their attention, but I really want to get them hyped up if possible, or like having people go, oh shit, and be like possibly reaching out after the fact about wanting to buy some production or work on a project or something like that. So if I see somebody in the crowd that's like that might be interested in that, maybe I can like get another client out of it. You know what I mean? So
okay, so the instrumental shows for you are really like a networking situation where it's like maybe it's not the thing you see yourself doing full time, but it gives you the opportunity to meet people that can help you do the thing you want to do. Am I getting that right?
Partially. It's like because I do the rap stuff too as Ocho Phono, so it's like it's a little bit different, but it's the same at the same time. It's like people hear it, they might want to buy something, and they might want to like see what check out the catalog. You know what I mean? Follow me on the socials, the basic stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you, Evan? Sorry, Even Tho.
It's okay. I would say that you may need to repeat the question.
I just want to know what you feel like the expectation of you is from the audience when you go to perform live as like a instrumental performer. Okay,
so what came to mind was the parallels and the differences between like a rapper or a comedian going up and doing a set, and then like a producer or a musician going up and doing a set. There is an expectation more on the consistency and confidence from that consistency of somebody like really grinding out a song, really grinding out a set, and just knowing every word and knowing every line. But for me, I think that I've relied on a confidence that comes from being more improvisational and more in tune with the moment and the music in that exact room with those people. Whether I can see them in the crowd moving from like the lights being in my eyes or whatever it is, I'm feeling it, and if they see me feeling it, I hope they get that contact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you guys like doing both, so it's not like a gun to your head thing, but what do you feel like is the more conducive atmosphere for what you do live? Do you like performing on a bill with other artists, or do you like performing on a bill with other producers? Not that producers aren't artists, but I just mean like vocal artists.
Right.
Instrumental artists.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. I don't know if I necessarily have a preference. I think I really just, I'm a fan of both big time. So, and like you said, the vibes are always like a little bit different, but not by much. You know what I mean? Like you're still getting the same result at the end of the day. So, personally, I'd say both.
I would say that the default for me would probably be being on the bill with an artist, because it takes a different type of crowd to enjoy a full night of just beats, which is not to say that it's not impossible for people to listen to instrumental music. They do it all the damn time without realizing it, So, but to sit there and vibe and appreciate it at the level that the producer may expect or have come to expect, that requires a different vibe. So, performing with rappers kind of breaks it up a little bit, or the producer breaks it up a little bit,
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't think of it that way. I feel like that kind of segues into this. We got another great question from Bluntsworth. He said, underground hip hop is incredibly saturated. I've seen you all live before, but I'm curious. What sets you apart from all the robots out there? Was the journey of individuality in the scene tedious and jaded? How do you feel about your place in your journey now? A great question. I feel like I'm going to say, BZA, maybe you should take this first because you have the most experience of the three of us.
Sure. So for me, I try not to, when I'm going to create stuff, I try my best not to listen to other people's stuff for a bit, so I don't get like, unintentional, like some, copycat type stuff, because not for nothing, as much as we try to avoid it, if we get like stuck in a loop and listen to a lot of the same kind of stuff, when we go to create, it might end up, translating over to that.
Echo chamber.
Yeah, and I mean, not for nothing, for a long time, just like any other producer, like when we're getting into it, like we try to make the Just Blaze beats, we try to make like the Premier shit, the Alchemist shit, whatever, and like, you know, I love those guys to death, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be Madlib. I don't want to be Alchemist, you know what I mean? I want to be me. So that's really the only way that I can say, like, I mean, I'm sure that it's probably still people hear it and they're probably still go, you kind of sound like so-and-so, and maybe, you know, whatever, that's fair. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I try to do to mitigate it. So
I think that's fair. What about you, Evan?
I would say that since early in my beat making days, my trademark has been like a diverse sound rather than a very specific one, and I think it's sort of like an orbit that is wobbly at first, and then like slowly kind of gets its motion as it's going around the sun or whatever, and that consistency and always being in a different place and trying different things. And I'm on the cosmic analogy, just picking up space dust as I go around, and, you know, just like, oh, what genre is that? Like a little civilization's growing on my back, you know, like, oh, so now I'm a lo-fi guy. All right, let's try this out.
right.
I think that diversity has just always been the thing that made me stand out, I guess, because you guys even are surprised by some of the shit I pull out of the bag at these shows.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
And
hell yeah.
And that's sort of like the risk that I take doing these live shows, is infusing all that stuff and kind of testing the boundaries of the crowd or my own aptitude to perform these type shits, you know.
Sure.
I've been getting into some more dance type stuff, and that's definitely been challenging, because I feel like that's a whole, you can't just enter with the credits you have from hip hop, you know what I mean? Those credits don't translate the same way, because there's people who have been grinding out dance beats for the same amount of time that I've been doing hip hop beats, and they look at something I did and was like, yeah, I remember doing that 10 years ago or some shit like that, you know? And I get it. So that's just been a fun thing for me too, is just kind of dipping my toes in different genres to stay
Absolutely, bro.
fresh, you know.
Shoot, I remember back in like 2015, I was making almost trap type shit. So, you know, it's all relative at the end of the day.
Oh yeah,
you know. But yeah, man.
So I like this question a lot.
Yeah.
Because what sets you apart from all the robots out there? If you had asked me this, I guess maybe any time pre-pandemic, I would have, maybe even before the pandemic, just like I put out Not Having a Good Day in 2018, and then I took a little bit of a break. So if you had asked me any time from Not Having a Good Day or before, I would have said my consistency is the thing that makes me stand out. BZA can attest, he was with me a lot of the times. We were doing like over 100+ shows a year from, well, I started in like 2013, and up until 2018, there wasn't a year that we really did less than like 100 shows sometimes.
Blew my fucking voice out, man.
Yeah, we would play sometimes 2-3 nights a week, if not more, not even being on tour, and then I would go out and do like tours and shit too. But then that period of transition between my hiatus and the pandemic and going to Hellhound and all of that made me realize that what makes me stand out isn't so much about my consistency as it is my affection for experientialism, if that makes sense, where I want my performance to be an experience for everybody, because if everybody is participating or engaged in that experience, they're going to take away more of what I'm trying to put out there. And so I do think that I am a lot more considerate and a lot more intentful of how I'm going to engage with my audience at shows.
Word.
I think in terms of the journey of individuality and the scene being it was never a tedious task for me to withhold my individuality. I grew up a punk rock kid, so I carried that into this, and this is who I always wanted to be. But I do think it's a challenge for a lot of people. I think that's the struggle with hip hop at large right now, is that it's so easily accessible, and so many people want a part to play, that it's just easier to replicate what's successful rather than to carve out your own path. But
right,
because I never cared about that and was willing to sacrifice to have things my way, being an individual was always part of the master plan. And how do I feel about my place in my journey now? It's really interesting as well, because once again, before I went on hiatus, I felt very much like a pillar of my community. I felt like I contributed a lot to the greater North American hip hop scene, and I felt like I had really earned a lot of my accolades and earned the respect of my audience and whatnot. But going on hiatus for a couple of years killed my momentum, and in turn really killed my audience. And so when I came back with the Howling Man in 2021, it really felt like I was starting over again. And so my place in my journey is that I'm essentially forever a nomad, and I have to be comfortable with that, in the sense of like, my work is never going to be done. I'm never going to be the popular artist. I'm never going to have the most streams. I'm never going to be the most liked or the most talked about or whatever, but I am the most loyal to my partners, to my team, and to my audience. And if you want your artist to be loyal to you, I give you a great incentive to follow myself and anybody that I align myself with.
Hell yeah, bro. Honestly, to add to what you said, I've been in therapy for a little bit, and like honestly, my therapist was even saying like the shit doesn't end until you're dead, basically. Like you got to keep going regardless of what it is. And that, you know, that falls in music, that falls in everything else. I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like there's no end to this. You got to keep going, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, a lot of people set one goal, and if they don't get to that goal, they're out of the race.
Absolutely.
I've changed the goal so many times, and the goalpost continues to move because I want more for myself as time goes on. And meanwhile, I haven't even accrued the things that I was trying to get when I started. And so it's like I always have something to work for, and I always have a reason to stay hungry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think one of the things that early on and towards the middle of my beat making career was like artists who, well, not even artists, just people who wanted to jump on a trend, and they saw a beat maker as like an opportunity to, or even as an engineer, to just like participate in something that's like a one-off trend. And it gets tedious because I understand the sentiment, and this was before people had like much more access to the type shit that could get that done on their own. So there I was engineering or producing for somebody who was just doing something super trendy, you know, whether it was like a Rick Ross type Meek Mill beat, or, you know, just some shit they found on YouTube. But that'll get you jaded, and if you don't come out on the other end learning from it, you either quit or just become bitter, or both.
For real, dude, you ain't kidding.
Yeah, bro. That's the truth, man. And I've seen it so many times too. Like, I mean, I can count on both hands. I'm like, you know, like I've seen people like that group, you know, came up with, they're like, they're not doing stuff anymore, or like whatever it is, because they didn't see it, you know.
Sure.
They didn't see what they were looking for, or they thought that there was an end to this. And nope, there's not. There's not.
What else you got for us, Pope?
So I wanted to take a moment to do something interesting on the show that I don't get to do too often, but I'm queuing it up over here. Because it's not often that I get people on the show that I've collaborated with.
Word.
So I figure while we don't have any questions in queue, one thing that would be cool to talk to people about is Patreon. So you guys know, obviously, but when we started the label in 2018, we also jumped on Patreon right away. And now, being all these years deep, there's years worth of stuff on our Patreon, including stuff that has never seen the light of day outside of it. There's podcast episodes that never got distributed. There's music that was exclusively for patrons. There's content that was exclusive for them, all sorts of stuff. Shout out to Bluntsworth. Appreciate you, dude. Great questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was dope.
But I'm always trying to encourage people to join our Patreon, because it's one of the better ways that we can kind of directly feed our audience and give them stuff that's exclusive to the people that care, and they don't have to get lost in the social media feed. And one thing that was really cool that I was thinking about recently was we put out a little 2-track teaser EP on Patreon, exclusive for our Patreon audience, that was produced by Even Tho.
Let's hear
it. It was the appetizer for the project that we're hoping to put out this year, potentially. So I have to go back a ways on our Patreon because there's a lot of stuff. Okay, here we go. So, this is already like running through here. So, anybody that's here right now, I'm going to give you guys a treat. Shout out to, trying to open the comments here. Got too many things happening. Come on. Yo, shout out to Scott for jumping in here. He said, what up,
Scott? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Scott.
He also said, what up,
Hey.
Evan? I like that fusion of the two. So I'm going to premiere this. So anybody that's not on our Patreon, this is going to be the first time you guys can ever hear this. This is a joint from me and Even Tho's project that we're going to hopefully put out this year. We put these 2 songs out as a teaser to see if people were rocking with it. And we don't have a huge Patreon following, but they were digging it. So, all right. You guys, is my screen on Patreon now?
Wow. Yeah.
Sure is.
So, without further ado, a little world premiere teaser track from Even Tho and myself. Ooh, this is the one I want to show.
Feel bad trailers. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, Patreon exclusive right now. This one is called Part of the Beat.
All this money that I don't have don't make me shit. All the love in the world wouldn't make me rich. So I flip quick, so my lips for a dip into pips. Never understood how quick you can hit a lick. Negative this in my bank account that never gives me shit. Bank account never fat. Part of the beat is the price of the bass slap. Taking food from me, be a way to get your face slapped. Take that, take a whole lot more. Got many a lesson, got a lot in store. I don't need sympathy, I need identity. One I can steal for the cash without penalty. Hate talking money, but it brings me down. Like riding a cloud that can crash to the ground. Hate talking cash, but it brings me sound. Sound sleep, pounds of weed in the belly that's brown. Keep feet to the street, then my eyes to the mouth. Keep ears to the beat, let my wise thoughts aloud. Part of the beat, that's my daily survival. How do I eat if I need to survive? Yo, how do I sleep with so much on my mind? When do I knock out the beat on my rhyme? Part of the beat, that's my daily survival. How do I eat if I need to survive? Yo, how do I sleep with so much on my mind? When do I knock out the beat on my rhyme? When I'm not with the clocks or holes up in the wall, I'm throwing my phone and not taking no calls. I need peace, so I rap for release. Actually, cause my actions are beast. Part of the system that is my OB, and I'll hit hard when I hit them. That rhythm's my breathing. I don't get how everybody ain't competing. Maybe you not in pain, never days without eating, days without sleeping, even days without dreaming. Wrote that back when, like a couple of seasons. The midst of the shit that I gave for most reasons. Now I got now the fuck, I'm the realest of heathens. Always been, always being what I say, I mean it. Don't act with tracks, who I am's my demeanor. Dictionary is scary and not true to your word. Even told the one my group all alone, you a bird. Part of the beat, that's my daily survival. How do I eat if I need to survive? I sleep with so much on my mind. When do I not gotta be on my grind? The beat, that's my daily survival. How do I eat if I need to survive? I sleep with so much on my mind. When do I not gotta be on my grind? Staring at the wall, writing with my eyes. Glares from a hall like I'm fighting these guys. Scared of the fall like I take in my mind. Can't trip now, more scared how I'm defined. Can't find the time to relax, shit in silence. Gotta have the phone, every minute ain't mine. Wanna talk, baby, right now's bad timing. I'm Clips and Thrasher, gotta stay grinding. Always on time or as early as possible. Out of my mind yet somehow logical. They call it dreaming, I call it plausible. Coach or the quarterback, I call the audibles. I took some other pills, now I don't call for them. My power great, maybe one would say awesome, man. I find the strength in myself, I'm like Tarzan. Thought I was dope, but my rhymes have like Narcan.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. That's just been in the vault on Patreon
That
for
shit
$1 a month. For
That shit's
$1 a month, you
fucking
guys can be
vibe,
on
bro.
Patreon getting joints like that nobody else can hear anywhere.
I don't use the word vibe often, but that's a fucking vibe, bro.
I
Thanks,
appreciate
Jam.
that.
That is
I
wild.
was hoping
bro.
the chat would like it, but chat's pretty quiet, so I don't think they were feeling it.
Oh,
Let's hear it if you were fucking with that.
Yeah, come on,
But
chat.
in
You
the-
guys,
what are y'all sleep? Wake up.
come on.
And then-
I need some fire emojis. I'm insecure.
that
There
was
you go.
there you go. That was my Run the Jewels influence.
Oh hell yeah, yo, hell yeah! But at the same time, like I didn't like think that like when I heard it, you know what I mean? So it's dope.
That's good. I was worried that it would be too obvious.
No, not for nothing. That like that shit, like that like harmonious stuff in the background, kind of reminded me of like Mortal Kombat for some reason.
Oh hell yeah, I'll take it.
Like the Nether Realm shit, like like fucking
Finish him. Yeah.
Thank you,
There
Jess.
we go. There we go.
Appreciate that. We got our first fire emojis tonight, gang.
Woo!
Hot yes, thank you. So guys, like we said, Feel Bad Trailers is exclusively on Patreon. Even Tho and I have been working on a project now for the last couple of years. It's called Feel Bad Movies. And so when we have the entire project ready, we'll share that in a special way. But yeah, if you join Patreon, you can get those joints right now.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? Let's man, we gotta fucking I need some more BZA. Ooh.
What?
Look at this comment right here. I like this. We want the Even BZA EP 25 beat tape. That would be crazy.
That could be done. That could be arranged.
Heck yeah, man. Me and BZA never worked together.
No, we haven't. Especially Ocho wants to rap on some Even Tho beats too. So let's see if we
Maybe
can
I'll
work some
rap
shit
on
out.
some BZA beats.
Hey, that could be cool, man. That could be cool.
Man,
We'll throw everybody off. We'll get Byron on there rapping. We'll get everybody.
right?
Yeah, Byron was spitting on y'all's last project. That was sick.
Straight up, dude.
He still has to rap on this one shit that he wrote for me. I'm like, damn, bro.
I'm trying to get a little bit of rapping out of him on every project until eventually we're just both rapping.
Shit, man.
There you go. Well, now he knows the plan, so
Right? Well, we'll see.
Shit.
The plan changes fucking all the time based on the fucking obstacles life throws at us.
oh for sure.
Always, man. Always.
I will say though, we are working on a new Cody Pope and Byron G EP that will hopefully be out this spring. It's going to finally close off the trilogy that started with Pound of Flesh, followed by Renaissance Park. So that third project will hopefully be out sometime this year.
Word.
You know what? Since everybody's been so good tonight, you guys let us know in the chat if you guys want one more Patreon treat from Even Tho.
Yeah,
If we see enough
I'll
support,
get up in the chat.
if we see enough support in the chat, I'll play you guys the other track from Feel Bad Trailers.
Tell us about the track, Pope.
So, Ryan said yes, please.
All right.
Man, funny. Oh, hell yeah. All right, we'll run it. quick little sidebar. I love Ryan, so I'm going to tell this story. When I like first started rapping, Ryan, who you got, so if you guys ever watch the show, Longboard Ninja is Ryan, and we used to be neighbors. We've been friends for years since I was like fucking teenager, but we used to be neighbors for a long time. And so when I started rapping, he would come over and hang out because we were literally like a door apart. And so like my roommates, my girlfriend, who's now my fiance, and Ryan, my boy, would all be like basically forced to like sit around my apartment and listen to all these rap songs that I would write over YouTube beats. And so like anytime I wrote a new song, I was so excited to show people that I would just like gather everybody and be like, you guys want to hear this thing I wrote today? Check this out. And so Ryan and my fiance have probably heard more unreleased Cody Pope music than anybody on planet Earth. And on top of it, Ryan has every Cody Pope shirt ever made, which
wild.
Yeah. And our homie Jen said more Patreon, so let's do it. So
let's hear it.
So the other track that is on Feel Bad Trailers is called Brilliance Part 3. And the reason that it's called Brilliance Part 3 is because obviously there's been two other instances of it. The first Brilliance came along on an EP that I did called My Own Private New Hampshire that was produced by Q Quick.
Q Quick.
Yeah, shout out to Quizzy. And so obviously the theme of Brilliance is really just like challenging myself intellectually, not just to be book smart, but to be as emotionally adapted as I want to be book smart and street smart and all of that stuff, and just how to find the balance as a person. And then the second chapter of that comes on The Howling Man, produced by my brother BZA here in the chat, is a song called Gems. And Gems serves as Brilliance Part 2. And so it's a little more aggressive of a take, but that version of Brilliance is really about like self-appreciation and seeing the value within the work that you're doing and looking past, you know, it's like when you mine a diamond, it's covered in dirt, it's covered in shit, whatever in the ground, and you have to clean it off and mine it and really like clean the thing to make it beautiful. And that was one of the things that I had to realize as an artist was like, I could do grimy shit and make it beautiful if I took that time. And so it was cool to get to this point of finding a track that sounded like Brilliance Part 3, because obviously by this point I was this was 2 years removed from Part 2. And this one is really just about like having the maturity to grow and see the error in your ways and to be smart enough to not let that stuff set you back. So now that I've eaten up a bunch of time explaining it, without further ado, this is Brilliance Part 3 from Even Tho and I's Feel Bad Trailers, exclusive to Patreon.
An R&B vibe. I like that.
My anxiety higher than the sky would be. Last thing I need, another friend to lie to me. My anxiety higher than the roof would be. Hope that creep with a grim reaper, she roofie me. I'm not stupid, B, that's why I hate this planet. Make the most of it and give praise to the granite. Humanity a sham to me, just another species. Goddamn scammers, no plans, just throwing feces. Even in crime, I tried to teach my brothers principles. Loyalty can soil seeds that foil feet's invincible. Keep telling them, selling them financial independence. You are not a sellout cause they came to you for spending. Invested more in our system than I did in myself. Good to protect your family, but gotta protect your wealth. Interested in doing what's making sense to me. Making sense when I bend it, adjust your sensory. Nothing in this world like mining for brilliance. Life experience made me sharp and resilient. Tap deep in the brain to express what the eye see. Tap deep in your vein like my words are an IV. Nothing in this world like mining for brilliance. I got bopped again, just some stupid shit. Don't you worry though, I'll be through this quick. On the road back to my hive of vice. Getting back to getting high off life. I was walking through the fuzz, my brain was kinda fuzzy. Trying to dodge the fuzz, but now I'm feeling kinda muggy. Hard to love a mug like mine, but thank God he love ugly. Should've wore my nice shoes, maybe somebody mugged me. Now I can test the training I done in the gym a bit. Fuck with me, a deep sea best not swimming in. You might got skills, but like your CDs, limited. My skills increase, almost like my brain is infinite. Think can be so mundane on days you broke, man. That's why I always stay focused up on my goal plan. Used to create chaos for fun, almost for show, dude. Picking fights with strangers, man, I was so rude. I look at time the way I look at the bank account. You put the value in it and you gotta make it count. Days of war, I hope that most you make it out. Life's a bitch, give her a kiss, start making out. Preach.
Real dope.
Woo!
I haven't heard that one in a while.
I know, same. But you guys could be listening to that if you were on Patreon. You can join for literally $1 a month. Will get you the base subscription, and you'll get access to everything. Yeah. Shout out to Schoolyard Pro. Life's a bitch. Give her a kiss. Oh, that looks like my boy Danny right there. Shout out to the Hen Dog Half up in the chat.
Oh shit.
Danny was one of my earlier guests on the show a few episodes back, and he also runs a podcast on YouTube called the Hen Dog Half. So make sure you go check out Hen Dog Half on YouTube.
Oh shit.
My man Bluntsworth said, please post links to all parts of that. So, oh, you changed up the name of the channel. Okay. Hey, thank you, bro. Appreciate that. So I'm going to post in the chat right now. If you guys want that joint, it's exclusive to Patreon. And you can join for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/Hellhound Publishing. There's a ton of content on there that has never seen the light of day outside of Patreon. It's always been the goal for us to create a consistent stream of content for Patreon, but we just haven't always had the audience that needed it that much. So our goal this year is to really drive that and to create special content exclusively for you guys. And if you guys sign up today, like that stuff was posted in 2023. And you guys are hearing it 2 years later, and it's still fire. We've got old podcasts featuring Even Tho and Byron G. We've got photos from some of the big shows we've done. We've got beat breakdowns that Byron and Evan have done. We've got all sorts of visual dumps. We've got discount codes. There's premieres, audios. There's podcasts that have never been released outside of Patreon. So I really implore you guys to check that out. As you guys know, Hellhound is really big on being direct to our audience. We love the newsletters, the shows, mailing stuff to you guys, being on Patreon, being on stream. It's just so much better for us to know how to reach you guys rather than for us to chase each other through social media. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, fuck the algorithm,
we all,
bro. Fuck the algorithm.
Yeah. But because we're all still driving traffic right now, make sure you guys look at the banner below, follow 8BZA and follow Even Tho on Instagram. And you can get Even Tho's double instrumental album, Solstitial and Equinoctial, exclusively through Hellhound Publishing at hellhoundpublishing.com. It's a double album worth of music on CD. It'll come with a limited edition gift tote while supplies last. And it's an awesome vibe album to just ride around, clean your house, plan your life, do your work in the office,
Do
think
some
about
gardening.
your future. Yeah. It's just really, really good soulful music. I'm really proud to have that on the label. So make sure you guys get a copy of that while you can. Supplies are limited. 8BZA is going to have at least one new project coming out with us this year. But in the meantime, he has a whole archive of music that you can purchase at 8-bza.bandcamp.com. I just wanted to make sure that I plugged that a couple times before we do the do.
Before I forget too, I almost forgot to mention I am working on a beat tape right now. It's called We All Have a Number. It's called We All Have a Number, and I'm hoping within the next like month or so it should be done, because I mean, like before it was just like I was just compiling beats and I didn't really have like any like set destination for them or anything like that. But now I'm like actually crafting it, and it's about like I think like 75% done right now. So that's my next beat tape. And then I don't know when the next album is gonna drop, but I'm working on an album right now with Ocho Phono called Now You Listen to Me. So
nice. Well, since you just mentioned him, do you want to let everybody know about Ocho Phono?
Okay, so Ocho Phono is my rap alias as well. I had to separate the names because I found out that there were a couple people out that had similar names as 8BZA or BZA or anything like that were doing, you know, similar things. So I had to kind of rebrand a little bit. But, you know, I'd already had stuff out as 8BZA, so it was like kind of, you know, I didn't want to like completely get rid of the name, so that's how I split the difference that way. So, but it's been also like by rebranding though, it's also been kind of like making me like rethink how to approach like my albums and stuff. So it's been a good change.
Yeah, it's cool. It's given you like a lot of versatility to explore different mediums to approach things.
Absolutely. And I think that was always like the end goal, but I didn't know how to really do it before. And then like, you know, it kind of, like I said, it took a catalyst like that to cause me to be like, yo, we got to fix that. I'm glad other people get it too, because it's like I said, I had been trying to do it for like a long time, and then like, you know, people start popping up and it's like, yo, that's fucked up. You know, and I'm not trying to like go fight people for my name. You know what I mean? We're not in like the 80s anymore. So, you know.
Yeah. And I encountered the same thing when I went by Eagle. It's like, it's way more ubiquitous than BZA. So I faced that challenge on every single social media and streaming platform. Somebody was already called Eagle and they had like one song and one follower and they just wouldn't delete their account. So I'm just like, fuck. So I have to that be like different things on every different thing based on what it is. So I'm just like, you know what, be something that is a little less ubiquitous. And turns out that spelling of Even Tho is still pretty common. So I had to go by Beats by Even Tho on Instagram. But you know, you take what you could get with social media.
Yeah, man, it's, you know, it sucks too, because like I noticed on like Spotify, like I went on one time and I thought like Black Moon dropped a new project and it was some Japanese like pop type like shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Like that doesn't sound like Buckshot at all. What the hell?
Yeah, right.
So I was like thrown off. But yeah, I feel like it's just like a common thing now. Is there's like a lot of these like, you know, unoriginal names popping up and shit, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh no, for real.
But not everybody can be lucky. Hard for people to find it.
That's true.
No, you're right. You're right. That's why I've been trying to make sure that like Ocho Phono has at least a couple features on like any 8BZA project, so it makes it, you know, it kind of sets the tone, makes people understand like where I'm coming from with it. So
yeah,
yeah, man.
Yeah. What is whoever wants to take this one, what have you guys been listening to lately?
Well,
the first BZA?
between podcasts, like we were talking earlier and stuff, I mean, I've definitely bounced between hip hop and like alternative stuff, because like, I, you know, after a while I kind of got burnt out just listening to hip hop, and I was like, you know, I always liked, you know, like Faith No More and shit like that. So like I've been trying to like listen to stuff like that to get some like a little bit underlying influence as well. To not, you
Nice.
know,
I
but
can see some Meg Patton in you.
at the same time, not well. I can't sing. That's the only problem. If I could sing like him, it'd be a fucking whole different outlet, man. That guy's the man.
Oh my god. Don't feel bad, bro. There's not many people on this planet that can sing like him.
8 octaves, bro, and he don't even have any like he doesn't even have any like natural training. He just does it, and it's just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, yeah, that dude's a fucking nut. I love it, man. Like, but I've been like I said, I've been like trying to listen to like different stuff like that, like even like old like Stone Temple Pilots and shit, and like, you know, Pearl Jam and shit, just to like. Because it was a lot of stuff I like came, you know, it was always on MTV when I was growing up and stuff. So like, I definitely encountered it before I really just embraced it. But it's definitely been something that like I've been, you know, like gravitating towards a lot lately without like, because I want to jump out of my own realm without like, you know, but at the same time, then when I go create stuff, it doesn't feel like I'm like forcing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's been my like lately how I've been doing it. So. And I know Bluntsworth knows about that shit, so
yeah, straight up.
Right. Yeah. Lately I've been listening to a lot of Homeboy Sandman and Aesop, like, and individually and together as Lice.
Nice.
But in addition to that, outside of hip hop, just bumping the fuck out of Lana, the SOS Deluxe re-release from SZA. That's BZA's family there.
That's my sister, man.
Differently, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know if y'all mess with SZA at all, but her latest album,
I like SZA.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She re-released it with like 5 or 8 new tracks or whatever, and just been listening to that. And then I mentioned Banks earlier. She's got a new album called Off With Her Head, featuring Doechii on there and Sampha.
Oh shit!
I know you like Sampha, Cody, and that's another person I've listened to a lot of lately too. Just really like eclectic sounds, you know.
I admittedly haven't heard a lot of Doechii yet.
Corday put out a new album in like 2024, and he's one of the younger cats that I actually, you know, fuck with and can listen to. But he's got like some really dope people on. He's got Wayne on there. He's got Kanye, which is an interesting choice, but you know, like Anderson .Paak and them. But yeah, like a lot of different shit, you know. I'm trying to get back into some 90s, like Portishead, like you had mentioned Beth Gibbons earlier. Her album that she's out touring right now is actually really dope. I listened to it when it dropped, and it's such a vibe, man. And I put it on while I was gaming, and it was like a great set a great atmosphere.
Fucking love her.
Biz, did you say you haven't heard a lot of Doechii?
Not yet. I mean, like the little bit that I've heard was dope, but admittedly, I need to get like more, you know, more acclimated with this stuff.
Yeah, dude. 2 recommendations for you tonight. Watch her NPR Tiny Desk and listen to Alligator Bites Never Heal.
Will do, man. Will do.
That shit. That'll fucking spin your head, dude. She's like one of the best and like tightest performers that I've watched live.
Yeah.
Like, damn, seeing Doechii open for Deftones, that had to be
that's a
surreal.
wild fucking lineup. That's dope.
That's a bucket list show right there.
Hell
God
yeah,
damn.
man.
Right?
Man, wow.
That's crazy.
God. It's funny, dude. I was literally watching fucking Deftones 1998 like concert footage while I was cleaning my house today.
Nice.
Damn, that was the first time he saw her. That's got to be a hell of a first time to catch the artist, and now she's won a Grammy for that album.
Yeah, that's fire, man. I appreciate stuff like that when people can, you know, like jump in like off of fucking like a big opportunity like that.
Dude, I have to just point out this comment. I know it's a typo, so I love you, Keith, but this is so funny. It says, "Hey, Cody, this is Keith. By the way, God is leaving Wednesday for Italy." I just love God is leaving for Italy. That's going to be my new catchphrase in life.
God,
He's going to be like, oh, thoughts and prayers. I'm going to be like, sorry, God left for Italy.
Can we need to do a song like that, bro.
Yeah.
Next on the next project.
Do like 616 AD. Like one of those Drake timestamp songs, but ours will just be like 616 AD.
Yeah.
Damn, he said that might be deeper than you think, considering the Pope's circumstances. That's fair.
This one's not in critical condition, so.
Oh gosh.
That motherfuckers just did a Simpsons prediction. Yo, big facts. Oh, all right. Chat's going nuts. I love it.
Blowing up, baby.
Right. So this Friday, March 7th. Yes. This Friday, March 7th, Salem, Massachusetts, at the Felt Fanatic with John Canada. You can catch 8 BZA performing live. And then Sunday, March 9th, rest in peace, the notorious B.I.G. Both of these guys are going to be performing together live at New Hampshire's longest running hip hop residency, the historic Rap Night Manchester at the Shaskeen in Manchester, New Hampshire. So please, please, please mark your calendars. You got 2 opportunities to see the boys this weekend. It's going to be an awesome, awesome weekend of gigs. These guys are going to set an atmosphere unlike anything. Please make it out to support them. I want to plug BZA one more time at 8-bza.bandcamp.com. Obviously, make sure you guys are following them across all social media as the banner scrolls by. And I want to grab one thing real quick before we depart.
Oh, shit.
What could it be?
He's going to get the bazooka.
Get the strap. No, I just wanted to show you guys what we were talking about earlier. If you guys, I had to shut it off because we were listening to music. But if you guys like the Even Tho music that we had playing throughout the show tonight, as we mentioned the banner below and mentioned a couple times throughout the night, we have Even Tho's debut double instrumental album and Equinoctial on one CD, available exclusively at hellhoundpublishing.com. There's only a limited supplies left, so if you need some instrumental music to ride around to write to plan your future to have your wedding to, whatever the case is, this is a beautiful album. You get both albums when you get it on CD. If you stream it or you download it, it's your loss. So this is the best way to get it. You'll get an exclusive handmade Even Tho tote bag while supplies last. We got some Even Tho pins and stickers that you'll get as well. Boys, this was really fun. Thank you guys for joining.
Hell yeah,
man.
man.
It's nice to have people that I don't have to like interrogate.
Yeah, we have a rapport.
You know, it's like sometimes. Well, it's like I get people that I don't know sometimes. So it's like if I don't know them and the audience don't know them, I got to do like a proper interview. But
right.
It's really fun to just kick it with the homies and just have fun. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that was here in the chat tonight. Big shout out to Bluntsworth, man. Bluntsworth, we got to give you mad props for making the comment section pop off with some great questions.
Seriously, those are some really good questions, man. Really good questions.
Shout out to Blunts. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Keith. Shout out to Danny Penn, aka Schoolyard Pro. So Danny was on the show a few weeks back, and we were talking about his podcast, 10 Dog Half. And now he's actually changed the channel name to Schoolyard Pro, and Hen Dog Half is going to be another additional podcast. So make sure you keep up with Danny. Make sure you go subscribe to Schoolyard Pro. As we mentioned before, the music that we played from Even Tho and I is exclusive to Patreon. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. Patreon.com/Hellhound Publishing. You'll get pre-release music from any record that comes out on Hellhound. You'll get exclusive podcasts, ad-free podcasts for the ones that are pre-recorded. You'll get behind-the-scenes documentaries and interviews, exclusive photo dumps, all sorts of stuff. So I encourage you guys to check that out. Big shout out to Jess, who popped in tonight. Big shout out to Jill. Big shout out to Scott. Big shout out to Fee. Big shout out to Ben. Big shout out to Byron. Man, big shout out to Ruby, Jill, Megan. We also, everybody that was popping in the chat tonight, we appreciate you guys so much. Brethren, any last words that you want to leave the people with before we put the candle out tonight?
BZA, you want to go first?
Keep fucking going, regardless of what the outcome is. Just keep fucking going. That's all I got.
I love that, man. That's perfect. Biz, thank you so much for rocking with us tonight. Love you as always, man. Bro. I hope you feel better. I know you were a little under the weather today.
Yeah, man. So aside from coughing my brains out, really didn't have a good time. So I thank y'all for real.
Hell yeah.
As
All
always.
right, everyone, go follow BZA. Much love.
Go.
Evan, any final words for the people before we depart?
I would say peace. Like, the world's crazy, so if you can bring peace to a fellow person through, whether it be art or whatever you do, keep doing that.
I love that. Hey, man, thank you so much for being here tonight, dude. This was a blast. Can't wait for your show this weekend, Sunday, March 9th at the Shaskeen. Excited to see you guys do your thing, and excited for everybody to get the chance to hear Equinoctial, Solstitial, double album exclusively through Hellhound Publishing. I'll catch up with you soon, bro. Much love.
Thanks so much for having me, Pope. I'll see you at the show.
Absolutely. Man, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. This was really such a fun night. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. And as Jen just mentioned in our YouTube chat, big shout out to Scott, our friend who's always on the program with us in the chat. Scott is headed out to Italy to compete in the Special Olympics for the snowshoeing competition. He's been raising money and working hard at this all year. So everybody is excited for him. So shout out to Scott. Best of luck in Italy. I hope you come home with some medals. And yeah, guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Like I tell you guys all the time, you guys in the chat make this show what it is. It's hard to do a live stream show if nobody's engaging with you. Otherwise, it's just an interview that we could pre-record. So you guys really make this show special. You guys really make it what it is. So shout out to all of you guys tonight. Shout out my brother Ryan one time. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, we're going to call it. So until next week we have a really, really special episode. Make sure you guys mark your calendar. We're going to have a brand new band in studio called Price of Fear. They're a thrash crossover metal hardcore band featuring members of some of the area's most prominent bands of the past, including Hammer Bros and more. So tune in. We're going to have Johnny and Ryan from Price of Fear live here in the studio next Monday. So until then, much love, everybody. Good night.
Cody here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cody Central. If you'd like to support the show and help me keep this thing afloat, please check out some of the options below. Thank you so much for supporting, and as always, subscribe, like, and comment.
Okay.